Well, welcome to Last Four Plus, episode 2. I feel like we're doing sweaty balls.
Caleb, you gotta intro me.
Hey,
Hey.
they can see you now, so I just figure you're
Oh,
just there.
that's right. Oh no. Bad hair day.
I mean, you should do the intro for this show. Yeah.
I have neither a radio voice nor a radio face. Is that a thing? Is that what they say? Is like
He's got a face for radio.
yes, thank you.
That means you're handsome if you don't have a
I
face
didn't mean
for
that.
radio.
I didn't mean that.
You don't, though. You got a face for the silver screen.
Well, so TV is what you're saying?
I'm not saying you're...
You have a face for WB.
You're definitely being great on a CW show.
Oh, that's what I meant. Damn it.
Used to be the WB.
Thank you. Log it last 4, episode 2.
Changing the vibe.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. It's a little more casual.
We're just hanging.
Yeah.
Get your whiskey, smoke a joint.
Well,
Not
no,
actually.
This is
Metaphorically.
This is convo. This is straight convo and good hangs. That's the intention for these quote unquote short form.
A little more cash.
It's a little more cash.
Take the tie off.
Yeah, loosen the collar. Take your hat off. Put on the hat rack. I'll fix you something to drink. I got my apron on.
Daddy's home.
Daddy's home. Oh, God.
Relax, baby.
We need to
Okay.
put this on.
Well, cool. We're here to do Last Four Plus. Let's start this off by addressing the name of this show. Let's include the people in it.
Yeah.
I picked it. Originally, I pitched you MCU, Log It Movie Catch Up.
Yeah.
But I panicked. I actually used ChatGPT, and I was like, what do you think of Log It Plus? Because it was supposed to be kind of not making fun. Disney Plus was the idea.
Sure.
Log It Plus, or Last Four Plus.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount
Right, everyone's
Plus.
No minuses.
Yeah, National Geographic Plus.
Plus.
But we don't have to stick with it. So I just wanted to open this up for potential revision.
Yeah,
I don't think it's the best name, I'll be honest.
Well, I'm not.
It's confusing in text.
I think naming things is one of the hardest. Like when you start a band and you're like, okay, what's the name of the band? That's like, first off, it's like the first thing you do, and it's also the hardest. You can write a song willy-nilly, but you have to think of a name that'll stick, that'll ring true for years to come. And I don't know, when you hear it, you hear it. Log It Plus, or Last Four Plus, rather.
I don't hear it. I'll be honest.
Look, you said it. I didn't.
I stand by my dissent.
But everything also is taken.
Yeah,
like everything...
I mean, we could just call it Last Four
Plus.
It seems confusing because we've just made Last Four such a big part of the main show. But I have been thinking about splitting those up anyway, so maybe it does.
Movie chat. I don't know. I'm bad at this.
You thought of Log It, another movie podcast, which is a great name. That one, I heard it and I was like, I hear that.
I did take that from logging movies, which is what you do on Letterboxd. So maybe we can find something through that.
Oh, Letterboxd thing, which Last Four is, but recent activity.
That's not bad.
That's kind of fun.
Doesn't it also feel weird? We're not sponsored by Letterboxd. Letterboxd has their own podcast, and we're
Letterboxd simps.
Exactly. We kneel at the altar of Letterboxd, but I think it'll come to us. I think
we'll keep it open this episode. Maybe that'll be part of the fun.
Maybe when this episode releases, it'll have a name.
That'll be the answer.
Yeah.
Well, cool. What have you been watching?
What have I watched? Well, Caleb, last night I watched The Fugitive.
Yes.
Now this is Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones.
Cool.
1993, directed by a guy named Andrew Davis. And guess what else he's directed?
Yeah, what?
That's right. He directed Holes.
No,
the Shia
way.
LaBeouf. Yes.
Another wrongfully accused classic.
Oh, it's wrongfully accused.
He gets the sneakers thrown on him. That's why he goes to the whole camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a pull. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, dude.
Interesting.
Right on
also,
point.
Holes is 10 years later. So maybe it was kind of like just in his mind. He just couldn't let go. But basically, Harrison Ford plays a Dr. Richard Kimball, who is wrongfully accused of killing his wife, and he's on the run. Tommy Lee Jones plays a U.S. Marshal who chases him. Beautiful cat and mouse story.
So good.
It's so good. It's like the quintessential movie that was just like on TV, like back when everyone had cable. And I don't know what else to say. I think if you haven't seen this movie, you're a fool. You should watch this. Yeah, there's a one-armed man. The case of the one-armed man, you know? Yep. Very interesting. It's based off a television show. Did not know that.
Me neither. Older show?
Yes, I believe it was in the 60s.
Cool.
And there is a sequel to this movie called U.S. Marshals, which I have not seen, but it also stars TLJ. And
he won an Oscar for The Fugitive.
He did win the Oscar for The Fugitive.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that's right. I am thinking of the other co-star of U.S. Marshals is Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Sniper. Not as revered, but I think I'm going to get around to watching it. Anyway, I love this movie. I've seen it before. I'll see it again probably before I die. I do love a chase.
Yeah.
I love cat and mouse hunt game. This movie is set in Chicago. You got some beautiful shots of the city of Chicago.
Not a common movie city.
Yeah, I mean, I think this was like a very big place to shoot movies in the 90s. I could be wrong. I actually have no
common movie city. I'm probably an idiot.
I have no information to back that up. But watch any movie from the 90s. It's shot in Chicago. But yeah, also it's very funny. I used to be a big Scrubs guy. I used to watch Scrubs a lot, and I always forget the actor's name, but the guy that plays the janitor. Yeah. So he's in this movie, and there's like an episode where what's the guy's name from Scrubs? The main guy. Zach Braff. Thank you.
Yeah.
Him and Turk are trying to figure out, like, they've seen him on, like, they saw him on TV and they're trying to figure it out. And it's that scene from The Fugitive. And so I always had that. Yeah. So I always had that scene. Like, is that actually from a movie? It is. It's from The Fugitive. Anyway.
But it's the character in Scrubs who is.
But it's like a joke. They're like, you look just like this guy. And it's so like, funny. Yeah. Anyway.
We got to find that and clip it.
Oh, we should. Yes. Good point.
You're an actor.
You're a fireman. What are we doing?
Game over, Klaus. I saw you in The Fugitive.
Oh, yeah. I was in a Harrison Ford movie, but you know what? I chose this life instead because it's a little more glamorous.
I'm so glad you watched The Fugitive. I watched it just a couple weeks ago as well, and then did watch U.S. Marshals.
I had no idea.
I loved it so much, and then I'd seen U.S. Marshals and The Fugitive forever. No idea they were a sequel of one to the other, and
even it's like the same characters.
But Tommy Lee Jones, and this is my next point, always plays that character.
Good point.
Because I watched another movie. I watched Double Jeopardy.
Oh, cool.
With Tommy Lee Jones.
Starring Alex Trebek, sorry.
That's okay. Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
And, oh man, I'm blanking on all the names now. The camera's on me. I'm panicking, dude.
Beads of sweat.
And now I'm going to look extra stupid when I can't remember.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's true. Ashley Judd, but guess what this movie's about?
Oh my God. What is it about?
Tommy Lee Jones is hunting down Ashley Judd because she's wrongfully accused of murder. It's another movie where Tommy Lee Jones is law enforcement. That's why on Letterboxd, my review was, if you've been wrongfully accused of murder, Tommy Lee Jones will find you. I like that.
That was funny. Also,
3 movies.
Another movie, The Hunted, which we talked about last night.
Yes.
He hunts... You know,
Benicio del Toro.
Yes,
who is like borderline wrongfully accused.
Borderline.
It's not clear, but it does seem like he's trying to be killed by CIA spooks.
Interesting. He's in a movie called The Missing with Cate Blanchett, which I'm assuming he is hunting for a missing person.
And Men in Black is a hunting
Men in
movie.
Black?
No Country for Old Men. He's looking for a young version of himself, Josh Brolin.
Infamously in Batman Forever, he's Two-Face.
He's hunting the second half of his
for
face.
his other face, his other side of the face. That's right. Interesting. I didn't catch that.
It kind of blew my mind.
Genuinely, I think Tommy Lee Jones is very underrated. Looking at his filmography, I'm just like I love seeing him in movies. I like hearing him speak. There's a couple lines. Guy. There's a couple lines in The Fugitive that are just like they're like very quippy without being like that like MCU Marvel quippy, where it's just like bang bang bang.
He's sassy.
But he's sassy. He's got he's very good. And I was reading that there's a few lines in The Fugitive that he just ad-libbed, and I'm like, that was great. He did a great job. Anywho, that's what I watched recently. Caleb, what about you?
But one of those, I did watch The Hunted as well recently, because I've been on. At first, it was just The Fugitive, and I was like, that was great. And then U.S. Marshals, I found out was a sequel. I was like, that was great. And then I looked for movies, the best movies about people who are wrongfully accused, and I saw Tommy Lee Jones.
Question? Yeah. Did you Google that exact sentence?
Yes.
Movies about. We need to get into that too. That should be a little short form episode. Things we Google, like lists that we Google.
Yeah. I always like trying to, because once I caught that itch, I was like, this is a fun little sub genre.
Right.
And then I couldn't believe Tommy Lee Jones was in another one that was in this top 10 of this list, which was Double Jeopardy, which was really good too. And he could be the same character. Like this could have been the third movie in this series where they had to change it for copyright issues. I could imagine that.
Yeah.
But to continue this, so then I watched The Hunted, which I was really hoping Benicio del Toro would be like outright innocent, so I could add it to I was like already starting a letterboxed list in my head, and I was like, I just need like a few more to justify this. Before The Hunted, though, I just, like you were saying, Tommy Lee Jones, I was like, man, I love him. And then I always knew I did, but there's a whole treasure trove of these movies I hadn't seen. And so I watched a newer one that was directed by and starring Tommy Lee Jones called The Sunset Limited from 2011. So not that new, but it's Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson. And they are, it's like a one-room kind of play movie where the whole movie takes place of these two guys just talking in a room. And basically Tommy Lee Jones tried to kill himself, and Samuel Jackson saved him, just happened to be there. And so then they're debating this whole thing of whether like God exists and whether life is worth living. And it was good. I didn't love it, honestly, but it was an interesting movie. And then just Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel Jackson.
But it shows the range of TLJ. It shows the range. He can hunt you or he can talk to you for long form conversation.
Yeah. Convince you that life is, pointless, because his character, that's his point of view. That's why he's killing himself. But Tommy Lee Jones directed it, which is like what really interested me, along with the great cast. And then it's based on a Cormac McCarthy short story, which Cormac McCarthy is always awesome. So I figured worst case, the content would be good.
Can I say something really fast about Cormac McCarthy?
Yeah.
I'm listening to The Road right now, the audiobook. And I know I remember in high school you were reading it.
Yeah, I like that book.
So I was just about to say, probably the worst start to every morning I have is listening to The Road and being like, why am I'm so close to being done. Just let it finish running. Really good though. Very, very good book.
And kind of inspiring, right? In the darkness.
Yeah, I'm not done yet, so no spoilers.
You got to keep the fire. Does he already do the fire speech?
Probably.
I would like that. The Editors, the band.
Love the Editors.
They have a song that they did for the Twilight movies called No Sound But the Wind. It's actually all about that book.
Oh, interesting.
Like all the lyrics are directly referencing the book. It's a good song. But I'm alone with you. Help me to carry the fire. We will keep it light together.
Nick? That was a big hit.
Good song.
If you weren't around in 2008, I feel bad for you.
And before we move on, I did have a question for you about The Fugitive.
Yes.
Watch The Fugitive. Harrison Ford. We did Witness recently.
We didn't even talk about him. Yeah.
Loved him in Witness and was like so good. Great Harrison Ford role. I thought him in The Fugitive not as entertaining. Definitely more of like a straight man, kind of boring, quiet. Like he almost seemed more of playing like an introvert role.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he kind of has no one to bounce off of. I feel like it's just him. So maybe that. I don't know. I still really enjoyed him in this movie. I think I agree. I don't think he's like as charismatic as his character in Witness, or like, I don't know.
He didn't steal the show. Like, it was really
Tommy Lee Jones is like kind of like, he has all the good lines.
Yes. He's the cool guy.
But I mean, this is late period Harrison Ford. This is 93. Like he's already he's pretty gray in the temples at this point, you know? And he has I also do love the fact that at the beginning of the movie he has the beard so that he has to shave it off later in order to change his identity. And I'm it's a vice versa instead of growing the beard. I thought it was funny. But there's a moment when he like dyes his hair like a little darker black or darker brown. I thought he looked really good. He looks good in this movie. Yeah, he has a great parka. Like he has a really cool parka.
He looks good.
Outfits. Yeah,
I just wanted that smirk to come into the movie more, and he never really has that moment where he's like, "I got this." He's always like a little bit like,
I mean, I think we both know the answer.
Whoa! Stoned,
wrongfully accused.
That's it.
You know,
and
he's
his
like
wife got brutally murdered. He got accused of He's had a rough go.
He's been on the run, but yeah,
I just had to touch on that. What else you been watching?
Well, I think we're about to stay in TLJ
Please
territory because I watched. Wait, what? Sorry, I'm looking at the cast of this movie I'm about to talk about, and that is 1998's Small Soldiers, directed by Joe Dante.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I don't really know what else to say. Except this was probably the coolest movie I ever saw when I was 7 years old.
Yes.
Like, it was basically, you know, Toy Story was like the kind of very beautifully told story of your toys coming to life and like caring about you. And this is just like the exact opposite, where, you know, a military grade corporation puts microchips in toys and they become super soldiers.
Yeah, dude.
It's pretty great. Tommy Lee Jones does voice the main antagonist of Chip Hazard. Very good. Very good.
He's the general
role.
kind of.
He's the guy. So I was watching this. So basically what it is, it's this small toy company creates these toys called Commandos and Gorgonites. And these Gorgonites are these kind of like mutant-esque creatures, and their purpose is like learning. They're like learning toys for kids, right? And it's all about like discovery, nature, things like that. And then you have these Commandos, which are just like, you know, army toys. And then this big corporation takes that and creates these toys that can actually like play with you, right? So they put these like heavy duty microchips into them. They are able to talk to you. They can think for themselves. It's essentially artificial intelligence.
Nice.
And then they go haywire. I was watching this and it does feel like an Avatar prequel because you have like the Chip Hazard action figure looks like the main bad guy in Avatar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh,
but,
yeah. Love that guy.
But yeah, it's like pretty dumb, but it's like, because at a point like towards the end of the movie, like they're just like little toys attacking humans, and you're just like, where is everyone? Like there should be more uproar in the community. Like a house is being like torched because these toys are like shooting fire.
They're evil. It's kind of
they're really evil. And
Gremlins 2 vibes.
I remember watching this movie when I was a kid, and there's a scene where the toy soldiers shoot like those corn cob little like stick things that you put in the ends of it, and they like shoot him and they like go into his leg and you like see like visible blood and you're like, whoa, like it's very crazy. But I had a blast. This movie is too long though. It's 110 minutes. It should be 90.
Yeah, definitely.
This is Phil Hartman's last role. Like
Crazy.
They have like who's very, very funny.
Is he just a company henchman?
No, he plays Kirsten Dunst's dad, who's like kind of like he's like obsessed with technology and
interesting.
And I enjoyed it. I thought the CGI was actually pretty solid for like a movie from 98. Yeah. And the toy design is like just really horrific. They all look. I don't know why anyone would buy these toys, but do you have any thoughts?
Loved this movie when I was a kid, but I did see it. Like we must have rented it, and I always wanted to watch it. And we had this other movie. My dad would get screeners a lot because he worked as a journalist in the film industry. We had another movie called Small Soldiers, and it was all about children soldiers in Africa. And it was like, as a kid, every time I saw it, I'd get excited, even though I knew it wasn't the right movie. And there had to have been like a handful of times, not a bright kid, that I
for tried some reason like the cover art looks the same, and you're like,
work this time. Anything with like miniatures coming to life, toys coming to life. Toy Story you mentioned. Also, did you ever watch the
Indian in the Cupboard?
Yes.
I was
say the Native American in the Cupboard. PC culture
when they re-release it.
Dude, that was a classic for me and holds up pretty well.
Okay.
Another one where the special effects are like surprisingly great. All right, I'll go. This is going to be another controversial one. I've been trying to think of how to talk about this, but I'm just going to be as real as possible. I watched The Seventh Seal, which is one I've wanted to watch forever. I've always been intimidated by it because it's a classic and it's, the death characters reference.
The black and white, right? The black and
white where Max von Sydow plays chess with death on the beach. And I was really expecting most of the movie kind of to be like the Sunset Limited, where it was really like two guys talking about death and living and whatever. And it's not. There's like 3-4 minutes of him talking to death in the whole movie. Really, with the movie, the main theme of the movie is like
just chess.
No, there's like no chess at all. It's
what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like 2 scenes in the whole movie. It's about the
like
plague.
Checkmate.
So he's trying to, the plague, death is represented the plague. And so they're kind of in this band of people trying to outrun the plague.
Is he like a Knights of Templar type of guy? Is this
he's definitely a knight.
Okay.
And probably the Knights of Templar. I'm not good at history at all.
Yeah, it was the Knights of Templar.
It was. Okay. So
I don't know.
So he's just trying to outsmart death, but most of the outsmarting takes place with him just talking to people in the town, and death isn't super in the movie a lot, which was disappointing to me. Honestly, I was really bored, and it was a tough one to watch. I didn't care at all about any of the people. I have to watch it again because I feel guilty saying this, but that's the honest impression. We're not going to lie on this show. We're going to talk shit about classics if that's what I felt.
Hey, Seventh Seal, you're the fugitive.
Ingmar Bergman.
Yeah.
No pun I could think of.
Iceberg. We're about to hit you and sink because you're boring.
You're the Titanic. Well, we're the Titanic. Well, anyway, it sunk me.
I mean, I in every kind of cinephile Instagram or whatever that you'll see screenshots of this movie, especially of death, of them playing chess. Isn't this parodied in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Dude.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of speaks volumes that I know that reference more than this.
That was my impression of it for a decade of my life. The only real.
Look, here's what I'm going to ask. So you have a personal, you don't rate movies.
Very rarely. I've been thinking about doing it more. Actually started a private top 100 list, which is the closest. And I only got like 90 movies. So I was
God, we were close.
Yeah, I got to go through more. It was like middle of the night, couldn't sleep thing.
Oh God. Logging. I would love to know what your out of 5 stars of this movie.
Shit. See, this is why I don't do it. So if I was giving it enjoyment, half a star. I really got there was nothing about it. There's a couple scenes that I thought were really interesting.
Yeah.
And the rest I was just kind of like, wait, this is what this movie is? Like, oh, and I had my own, I put it on a pedestal too much.
Yeah.
That was definitely a problem where